I'm Jill Larson, sitting here at the Hemophilia Outreach Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where we are having a little winter weather experience today. So I'm glad we can all get together virtually. And Allie is here via Austin, Texas. So welcome to Allie. She's going to talk to us about the service that the clinic is offering everyone. That will help you plan your meals, plan maybe even introducing some different foods, and assessing your nutrient intake as well. So I know that I'm excited to hear Allie talk to us about precision nutrition and a little bit more about.
I think we have a frozen. There we go.
Service and provide a.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jill. I'm really excited to be here with all of you today. I like to keep these webinars super casual. We're going to learn a little bit. We're also going to review a demo of really what you guys have access to through the Hemophilia Outreach Center. So my name is Alexandria Zozos. I'm EatLove's lead dietitian, and I love putting on these webinars, these casual nutrition chit chats to allow a space and format for anyone to come learn and ask questions about nutrition. Today happens to be like National Dietitian Day, so I'm excited to be live on that day where you can, put your questions in the chat box at any time. I'm going to get started with our presentation today, and that's going to be on precision nutrition and really what it means to eat for your needs. I think it's a really important topic that's going to segue into the resource that you guys have available going forward called EatLove. So we're going to talk about the power of precision nutrition today. Some of our objectives are going to be understanding what that is and why one size fits all diets often fail. We're going to learn the key personal factors that you should include in your food choices. And these are just these are high key categories. We can go into a lot more detail in here. So health, lifestyle, so that can be your schedule, your family schedule, your work schedule, your preferences. So what do you like to eat? What do you not like to eat? What are your allergies? What are your health conditions, goals that you have? Do you want more energy? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want to PR a half marathon? Like these all are going to factor into how your food choices, how your plate guides your food choices and your lifestyle guides that. Recognize how personalized eating can make healthy habits feel easier and more sustainable. I always say the best diet is the one that you can stick to for the rest of your life, because that's all it is. Diet is literally, the definition is eat for you and something that you can maintain for the rest of your life. It's just your diet. It's not food restriction or getting more of this and less of that. It's really just what is sustainable for you long term, that you don't have to really think or worry about it. And then we are going to learn a bit more about your access that you get with EatLove. So let's jump into why one size fits all diets do not work. So what works for one person may not work for another due to differences in metabolism, health history, and lifestyle. This is going to be the main basis to get started of just really what you are eating for. Is it to have a healthy family? Is it to manage a condition that you're working through? But generic meal plans are going to ignore the most important pieces. Those are going to be your schedule, your preferences, your cooking skill, your cultural food patterns, which should absolutely be at the forefront of those recommendations. I always say what we do at EatLove, we have about 5 million dietary and lifestyle factors that we're optimizing for, health conditions and preferences. And I always say those preferences really need to match your schedule, because if you are trying to manage a health condition and you're trying to fit yourself into a preference box with really complicated dishes or that are going to take really long that your schedule does not allow for, that's going to be really difficult to maintain long term. So we know, many of us, or maybe family members, we see things on social media that tend to oversimplify complex nutrition science. Eat this, don't eat this, avoid this, this is terrible for you, which is often very nuanced and is not going to be safe advice or recommendations for an entire population. So we always have to look at that with a grain of salt and ask ourselves, what is best for us long term? We know that strict rules, rigid plans will lead to frustration. We may be able to stick to it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. But I know working with clients in the past, they'll come to me and say, I was able to do this until I wasn't, whatever that time frame was. And we talk about it. and how that diet that you pick for you is something that is not difficult to follow. Inconsistency, starting over repeatedly, those are all signs and symptoms of something is not really going to align with something that's going to be long term. So your body and life circumstances are unique. Your diet should absolutely be unique to you. And oftentimes that is the most difficult piece to consider. We don't know what those factors are. We don't have a place to organize all of those factors. So how can precision nutrition and a tool that allows you to really organize all of that work to your advantage to make it even easier to follow? It almost feels like this is too good to be true, because it is so easy to follow when you actually have a list and a checkbox and criteria to be able to plug in targets for yourself. So precision nutrition tailors food choices to your individual needs rather than broad population guidelines. So a really good example of this, we had the most recent dietary guidelines come out early January. I believe it's been a couple of months. That is broad population guidelines. There are subsets within the population, whether maybe you're a vegan or you follow a vegetarian plan, or you don't like this ingredient, or you don't eat dairy, where it's going to be a direct contradiction into these broad population guidelines. So that's exactly what that means. Precision nutrition is, this recommendation may work, this may not. How do you make that swap? And that's often the more difficult piece to figure out. But once you're able to, it's going to be a lot easier long term. So what your precision nutrition diet is going to consider is current health conditions and lab markers. This is something that your care team at Hemophilia Outreach will be able to assist you with. Your personal goals, such as energy, weight management, blood sugar control, on top of anything else that you're working to manage. Food preferences and cultural traditions, activity level and daily energy demands. Do you need a higher calorie diet because you are working out a lot? Do you need a lower calorie plan because you are more sedentary? Work schedule, family needs, time for meal prep. We can even go lower than this. It can be kitchen equipment. It could be time to cook. It could be how many days a week do you want? Do you care about organic things? Just these levels of consideration for meal preferences can go so low. And that's really what we're going to make really easy for you at EatLove. So once you find your diet and that individualized piece of it, it replaces those rigid food rules with thoughtful personalization. And like I said, can sometimes feel too good to be true, because it does become a little bit easier for you. So some additional key factors that should guide your eating. So your nutrition plan should reflect, if any of these are going to be a concern for you: blood sugar, cholesterol, digestive health, hormonal considerations, food allergies, intolerances, sensitivities, cultural foods and flavors that you want to keep at the forefront of your plan. Cooking confidence is a big one that we overestimate. I always say, I love cooking. I would consider myself a pretty advanced home cook, we'll call it. But there's also days where I'm like, yeah, I just want to throw something in a bowl and call it a day. So the realistic time availability with that, there's days that there's more complex meals. There's days where it's, bran cereal, milk, and some fruit. So it can be really simple like that. Budget and grocery access can definitely be a big one too. And then any fitness goals. So you're looking to gain muscle, endurance, fat loss. So when these align, that nutrition piece becomes much easier to manage. And we're going to allow a place for that during this platform to say, this is what you want, this is what you don't want. And have a basic checklist when you do your onboarding to have a curated filter of meal recommendations that match all of that, while still allowing flexibility at the end of it. Maybe it's just in the moment you don't want to eat this recommendation. We're going to have other options for you. So the personalization piece makes it easier because when it fits your real life, you are more consistent because it feels achievable. Like I said, too good to be true, but that is the truth. When you are consistent with it, it's achievable. You're motivated to continue on with it, because you're going to start to see those results and what we call 1% improvements rather quickly. We could talk about simple nutrition tactics like the hunger fullness scale that we can apply into our very next meal. Or we can learn to listen to those cues of I'm eating when I'm hungry, I'm stopping when I'm full, or just things that you can pick up along the way. And I hope these webinars are a place for that as well. It's also going to make you feel less restricted, so therefore more satisfied with meals. That is one that I love talking about, because it is easier to get a list to say, don't do any of this or avoid all of this. But it becomes very restrictive and it has a very negative mindset attached to it. So when you are more satisfied with your meals and you're less restricted, you're able to enjoy maybe what those indulgences may in the past, because you're allowing space for them, because you're getting more of the good stuff, because you're able to just sit with those choices and those decisions and feel more satisfied because you're not having such a restricted mindset with it. You can reduce food waste by buying exactly what you will use, which I love this one too, because it's something that we don't talk about. The average family of 4 actually throws away $2,300 worth of groceries a year, which is a big statistic. It's a lot of money. That's a weekend getaway. You can use that money for a lot of different things. And then when you stop restarting diets, instead of building progress, the mindset of the diet starts on Monday or the diet starts on tomorrow, is just this cycle that just continues with no real end and no real start. And we're in this perpetual hamster wheel, if you want to call it, because there's nothing that we can gauge our success with and therefore build a foundation on, where those 1% improvements actually continue to improve on a daily, mealtime, or a weekly basis. So a personalized nutrition plan may look like the following. So instead of generic advice like eat less, cut carbs, again, these are just not helpful pieces of information when we don't know how the personalization piece applies to our life. But we may want to increase our protein intake to support our strength training and muscle recovery, something as simple as that. We might want to prioritize our fiber-rich foods to support digestion and gut health. It's always important to attach a goal to it as well. Why are we doing this? With rigid lists of avoidances where it's like, don't eat this, and there's no real reason as to why it's attached. Again, it's a very negative mindset and we're not really sure why we're following it. And it becomes one of those things that we start to resent after a while because maybe we're missing key nutrients. We're not feeling as satisfied because we don't have a balance of macros on our plate. It could be choosing heart-healthy fats and balanced portions for cholesterol management, or structuring meals around our work schedule to maintain steady energy, especially if we work longer shifts. Maybe we don't have a dedicated lunch built into how we want to operate, so we start to build in that structure and we're able to maintain energy throughout the day. So it reduces those energy crashes, reduces binge eating later on in the evening, and we're able to have more well-balanced meals in the moment. So that next step for you all is that we do not need another trend or restrictive diets. I think social media has made a living off of these fad diets, is what I like to call them, 4-a-day diets. It's just the new thing. And, there's a lot of outlier case stories where it may work for someone, but again, we are not the general population. We are an individual with unique needs and dietary preferences. So you do need a plan that's designed around your body and your lifestyle. So precision nutrition means making informed food choices that align with those health goals, building habits that feel manageable and not overwhelming, creating a structure that you can maintain beyond the short-term motivation. Again, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon that will never end. It's like the never-ending marathon, but it's something that you can ebb and flow as needed. And I think there's real benefit to thinking of that 80-20 rule that we think about in nutrition, where we don't have cheat days. We don't have these days where we can turn off our brain about what's on our plate. We always want to be mindful of what's on our plate, but we're allowing to be able to make those decisions, feel confident in those decisions, knowing that we can indulge a little bit here, but we can also amplify what's on our plate every single time we sit down to eat. Is there a plant on our plate? Whether it's a fruit, vegetable, whole grain, just get a plant on our plate. So things that we can do long-term, and it's not a short-term fix, because we know we're always going to rebound. We're always going to fall off that wagon. We're always going to have these food rules that tell us we're not good enough or we're not doing enough, when in fact, we're probably doing too much to the point where it's not sustainable. So your body is unique. That nutrition should be. So I want to pause there and see if we had any questions before we move into the second part of our talk today, just about precision nutrition. Any considerations or anything that you've tried in the past that hasn't worked, that you're looking forward to finding something with a bit more personalization? Excellent. All right, so we're going to move into the demo piece of this. And this is going to be the EatLove portion, which all of you at Hemophilia Outreach have access to. And you can reach out to your care team and Jill to get started. I will share a list of anyone that does want access to this after our demo today. I have a poll up here that will just send you an invite, and you'll be able to get started immediately, which is really exciting because you can bring that personalization right to your plates immediately. EatLove is going to use that information to create customized meal recommendations aligned with your calorie, your nutrient needs, your health conditions, your goals. Like I mentioned earlier, we're optimizing for about 5 million dietary and lifestyle factors in less than a second. And then we're also giving you the power to make a change for like in the moment taste preference changes. Adjustments are going to be based on health conditions and dietary restrictions. If you don't eat dairy, as an example, you just put that in as an avoidance and you never see a recipe with dairy in it. Or same thing with really any other tiny food. Like if it's like, I don't like grape tomatoes, but I like all other tomatoes, like you can put that in as well. Incorporate foods while you enjoy meeting your goals. So finding an extended palate. I find some of the time food and nutrition can get kind of confusing and overwhelming when we just don't have a lot of options, or we don't have the time to come up with options that are going to be good for the health conditions that we're managing. And this is going to provide a launching pad for you to experience new foods and use. We have about 8,000 dietitian approved recipes. We have the largest dietitian approved recipe database in one place. So think of it like a Pinterest board of just, how do I get more whatever in my diet? Do I want more beans? Do I want more vegetables? Do I want more something? Do I want more calcium? There's just a lot of things in here that you can plug in to see a curated filtered list of recipes that are going to follow that. You can generate your grocery list, make your grocery shopping very simple and streamline. If you want to get time back in your day, being able to actually ship it out for delivery, send your list to Instacart or another one of our integrations for grocery vendors. Pick your preferred and have it delivered to your door and save a couple hours each week, or if you want to get your family involved. You can remove the guesswork so you can focus on the consistency rather than the calculating, which I know I don't have the brain capacity to do on a daily basis. So I'm sure many of you watching today would love to offload that as well. So without further ado, I want to share my screen. Fingers crossed my computer cooperates with me today. So what you are going to receive is an invite to EatLove to complete your nutrition profile. And your nutrition profile is going to walk you through your goals, your preferences, your family. You can add them there, but you're going to have ability to change that information really at any time. So you would be able to choose a nutrition prescription or health goal. Your care team can also help you personalize that a bit further. So if you have multiple goals or conditions that you would like to manage, I definitely encourage you to reach out to your care team to go through what the best option is, what the foundation for you is, and then you can tweak it with 130 plus micronutrients and food groups to get started. So all of these are going to have their own template. So this one is a general healthy diet, has a little bit of something for everything. My calories are calculated based on my energy goals. My macros are broken down here. I have maximums on less desirable things that we don't want to exceed in abundance often. So things like saturated fat, keeping that at 10% of my daily calories. My sodium is within the guidelines. Minimum of fiber. Our system loves fiber. So if fiber is something you have a difficulty getting, you will not for long. It's going to be a minimum, so it's going to boost it where it can. So you may have some quite high fiber days, but it's also a really good thing for blood sugar management, bowel movements, of course, cholesterol management. Added sugar has a maximum as well. And then we have ranges on fruits and a minimum of vegetables. So all of that nutrition comes together and is overlaid on top of the preferences that you've selected during your onboarding. So even your family and who's eating what, so that your grocery list is scaled appropriately. If you have any food avoidances, you can select those in here. If a dietary pattern, if you're following pescatarian, vegan, of course, you can select your preferred pattern. You can add more avoidances in here. I like to use that tomato example where it is a full taxonomy. Like I could remove every single tomato from recommendations, or I could just say, I don't like grape tomatoes. And that could be the only tomato option done in there. Taste preferences would take into account your cuisine. So any cultural preferences that you would like to keep a focus, as well as cooking and shopping. So what kitchen equipment do you have? If you don't have an Instapot, we won't show you Instapot recipes. How many days do you want to see meal recommendations come in for? If you want to focus on a week at a time, or you want recommendations for weeks at a time, you can do them more than 7 days. Do you care about organic meals? We have meal kits and ready-made foods integrated as well if you want what I like to call emergency meals, things that I can heat and eat really quickly, have them in the freezer and pull if I have a busy day at work. Those are always going to be an option. Time to make meals if you had any limits in here, leftovers, and even cooking skill. So all of that comes together to give you what we refer to as Spotify for food. So this is my unique meal feed that we call, that's Spotify for food, based on a general healthy diet and all the preferences. So that is the 5 million factors coming together to show you that very first meal recommendation for lunch today. So what I can do here is say, like, yes, that looks great. I want to add that to my grocery cart, or, I actually want to swap for something else, but it still want it to match my nutrition requirements. So it would, if you had multiple conditions or anything that you've customized with your care team, from a nutrient perspective or micronutrient perspective of what you need to get to support your health goals. All of those recommendations are going to fulfill that. And you can use the keyword search to find something. You can load more choices. There's dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of options for you in here. If you wanted to swap for something, maybe you really want a salmon dish. So you can always type in a keyword and get all the salmon options that even minimize food waste and still match your nutrition requirements, giving you a little bit more variety. Or you want chicken, or you want broccoli, or you want a couple keywords in there based on ingredients that you have on hand. You're absolutely able to do that and select something else instead. We also have restaurant meals in here, which is one of my favorites based on your geolocation. So based on where I am, what can I eat at lunch that still matches my nutrition requirements? Jill says she has lost me. I still see me. Can anyone in the audience confirm that you can still see and hear me? Thanks, Jacob. Excellent. Thank you, Diana. Technology is always, fun. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ron. Jill, you might want to try popping out and popping back in. That may work for you. But good to see that this is still up and ready, and it'll, of course, be attached to the recording. Thank you, Carrie. Excellent. So for lunch today, if I wanted to go to Starbucks or Subway or any of these other recommendations, I can see with a green smart choice what matches my nutrition prescription. And we also educate you on things that may not, probably because they're too high in sodium for the most part. Sometimes they're under. This one is actually going to be over in a lot of different things. So that is not even an okay choice. It's not even on the cusp of what would be a match in terms of your nutrition profile. But the good news is we always believe that if you have a little bit of planning ahead of time, you can make a lot of things fit within your day. So if you know you're going to Starbucks for lunch and you want something with a little bit more flavor to it, has a little bit more nutrient density to it, if you schedule that first in your plan for that day, the meal recommendations are going to adjust to keep you as close to your targets as possible. It's a real-time, flexible, dynamic meal recommendation system that way. So it just, the planning piece can go a long way. And these, again, are just recommendations. You are more than welcome to track your meals and just kind of get a recommendation for dinner, round out your day, let EatLove help you check out for the day. But I do want to show you how you can add some meals to your grocery cart and auto-generate that grocery list based on your family size and who's eating what when. So this is auto-generated, no manual calculation, can help me save 2/3 on food waste as well, just because spices and condiments are rather expensive. So we want to be able to check off those. We're not buying these on a weekly basis. So it gets us into good habits of shopping our fridge, pantry, and freezer first. Maybe you have some ingredients from like a jar of peanut butter. I need 1/4 cup. So I can check, does my peanut butter have at least 1/4 cup in that, or do I need to replenish my pantry peanut butter? So you can make that decision there. You can add additional a la carte items if you would like to. You can really buy anything that you would buy at a grocery store just by putting that on your list. And then you can take your app to your grocery store and check off as you shop. Or you can buy online through one of our third-party integrations. Instacart, this is just a subset of them. I believe we have most Instacart partners on here. So you can pick your preferred, save you up to 2 hours a week. So if time is something that you do not have enough of, which I know many of us do not. Being able to just have that delivered to your door. I know I've been getting my groceries delivered for about 11 years. I love it. I love it and dislike it at the same time, because I only buy what I need. And then in the middle of the week when I'm like, oh, I really wish I had, a snack or something that I didn't think to get earlier in the week. But it does help. There's studies on grocery delivery and reducing food waste and even healthier habits around it. So I love that. I think it's a really great option because you're really only buying what you need. You're not tempted in the grocery store, which is designed appropriately to tempt us with other things, the coffee in the aroma section, or the store, the eye level, like the entire grocery store. I could do an entire presentation on how it's developed to make us buy more. But it's really helpful to have that grocery delivery piece as well. And you can buy online. I talked about the Pinterest board briefly of meals. So this is where you'll see all of our dietitian approved recipes. This is how we are making those recommendations for you. And you are able to keyword search. You're able to filter based on nutrient targets or just good source of a specific nutrient that you're working with your care team on getting more of. And you can get a really quick filter. Maybe you wanted, good sources of fiber. We have, of that fiber tag, 2,400 recipes are going to be really good options for you that you can click on, review the recipe, your instructions, and even schedule that directly into your meal feed and add it to your grocery cart. So really quickly to find new inspiration, new flavors of things that you want, but you'll have options for over 8,000 recipes to do that with. Every recipe will come with an instructions, the ingredients and the amounts, the pie chart of who's eating what when, and even the nutrition information. You can also edit any of these recipes. You can add your own recipes through a URL recipe ingestion. If you have a blog site that you really enjoy recipes on and you want the nutrition information and how it stacks up to your profile, you'll be able to add recipes that way. Maybe I wanted to use kidney beans instead of chickpeas, and I wanted to get updated nutrition information on that. So you're able to edit anything. You will get new nutrition information in real time. Here's where you can add favorites, add your own recipe, and then copy that URL link in here and actually get real-time nutrient recommendations. The last piece I wanted to highlight, actually two pieces. The Nutrition Academy has some really good resources in here. To just learn about nutrition if you're managing a certain condition, or one of my favorites is the nutrient handouts. So learn more about vitamin D, or there's a whole bunch in here. Phosphorus cheat sheet, iron cheat sheet. So learning really specific about nutrients in here. And we do have recipe collections that are pre-built that actually give you, iron-rich recipes. And I can actually click on that. It's all digital, so it actually opens back up to your EatLove profile. And then I can actually go ahead and schedule right into my meal feed something that is high in iron. So a really great option for any type of nutrient that you're working on with your care team to get more of. But I absolutely love those handouts in here to find and curate really quickly. The last piece is the daily log. The daily log is going to highlight your nutrition profile or your nutrition prescription at the very top. And I can see here that I have Use Plus plan created, and all of my nutrient targets fall into the white category, which means everything that I have planned for the day will get me within every single one of these ranges. And I can basically know that whatever I eat today, if I'm just confirming my options in here, I'm going to hit all of my targets. So it helps you plan for the day a little bit more. Let's say I don't eat this for lunch. You're going to see the targets start to change. So I'm now under in carbs, protein, veggies, and 631 calories, which makes sense because I no longer have a lunch planned or scheduled or logged for the day. But maybe I'm just logging what I ate for lunch because I have, a few things on hand that I threw together quickly, and I want to make sure that I'm still on target. We do have a voice-enabled food log that you can just talk or type into. So maybe I had 3 cups of spinach and 3 ounces of chicken breast, half cup of beans, black beans. And you could, type in as anything that you had for lunch today, your dressing, your, olive oil, whatever you're eating that day. This is just a couple of examples, but that will go back to our nutrient database. And you just confirm that it is correct and that you want to log those meals. And then that information will be available to you whenever you track it. And then those numbers will change as you continue on. You can also get reports for your entire day, a couple of days, a couple of weeks that you can review with your care team. That would be one of my best recommendations to kind of see how you're progressing with the nutrient recommendations that your care team is offering you. So I wanted to pause there because I know we are right at time today, and I wanted to post this and I did not earlier, so apologies for that. Share now. So we can get your invite to EatLove right over to you later today or this week. So I just wanted to see in the audience who would like to get that invite right over. And then, of course, if you missed today, we will have the recording and be able to connect with your care team. This is an available resource to you as part of Hemophilia Outreach Center. So really excited to bring that all to you. And I'm going to put the email for EatLove, hello@eatlove.is. If you have any questions about the software, the technology, how we can support you, you have a really wonderful care team at Hemophilia Outreach Center. So I would definitely connect with them if you want a personalized prescription or be able to even just personalize it a little bit further. But being able to help organize a lot of this, not just for you, but for your entire family, is a really, really helpful resource for everyone. It looks like we have a couple of yeses on there. Excellent. We will get that over to you shortly. You filter out. Ron, that's a great question. We would need a database for lectin. So what I'd recommend on that, which I do not believe exists currently, from like the numerical value. So what I'd recommend is being able to do like an avoidance on foods that are high in lectins, and that way you can kind of filter it out that way. That's a really great question. Excellent. Did we have any other questions? Jane, absolutely. You can take some notes in your daily log so you can identify some triggers. These are just add notes about that. And you can, of course, it's a place to document, you know, your intake as well. And that's really helpful data for your care team too. So you can absolutely put some notes into each of those to help identify those triggers. You can also do like elimination things too with the care team if you're like trying to avoid a certain nutrient to see how your body reacts without it. That's something that I think Jill can help you with as well. Excellent. Any other questions for today? Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I have our support email in there if you guys have any questions. Jill, did you have anything that you wanted to wrap up for today? Oh, you're muted real quick.
I'll watch for anybody who wants some help facilitating that connection to this wonderful program.
Amazing. Thank you all. I hope you had a great talk here, and you know we'll be doing these on a regular cadence. I'll coordinate with the team on next topics. These are for you. So whatever you guys want to learn about, don't be shy. Let us know. Let your care team know. Email support or hello@eatlove.is if there's anything you want us to present on specifically. But we are here to answer those questions, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Have a good one.